and welcome into Getting Help from Uncle Sam. This is a very special weekend. It's not just the start of summer, it's Memorial Day weekend. For those of you that are about my age, you remember when it was called Decoration Day, and we went on and we decorated graves. A lot of those were our relatives, but many of them were members of the military who fought for this country. In 1966, President Lyndon Johnson declared this as Memorial Day. It's been that way ever since that. But it's not just a day for picnics, it's a day to remember those that served this country. We have a very special guest, Lieutenant General Steven Kwast, the Commandant of Air University and the President of Air University, because that is a true university.
It is, and I thank you for telling that story about Memorial Day, because this weekend is truly a chance for America to remember that 1.3 million Americans have died to give us the privilege and honor to live our life and pursue happiness in a way we see fit. That's extraordinary. 1.3 million Americans. And so it's a day not only to honor those, but to remember the families and generations of suffering where they have lost something they can never regain, so that we can live free. And it really reminds me of the most important word our nation needs to embrace on this weekend, and that is commitment.
Yes.
And I'd like you to see this video that shows commitment by airmen to provide air power so nobody can do anything to drop weapons on American soil.
Good. So let's look at this video.
When we finished basic training, we felt like we made it through something. We did it. We're done. We made it. You know why they call it basic training? Because that was the easy stuff. We thought we were going to change the world. We thought we'd all live to be heroes. But we learned two things after basic. The world wasn't going to come to us. And just because you put on a uniform doesn't mean you deserve to be a hero. You have to be committed. This wasn't the end of our training. It was the beginning of our new lives. We were airmen now. You hear about the guys who flew the first missions, the men and women who set records, who broke records, who gutted up and did what they had to do. Let me tell you, everybody wants to be one of them. There's a big difference between wanting and doing. You may never be one of them, but you will be an airman. You will serve your country and do your duty every single second of every single day until you separate, die, or retire. And when your moment comes, and there will come a moment, you will change the world. We did. You will be ready. That's what commitment is about in the Air Force. If in that moment you're undecided, you'll fail. You are allowed to make mistakes, but you are not allowed to do halfway. Stay focused. Commitment. Every airman who has worn the uniform, who has fought and lived, or fought and died, is lifting you up. You're one of us, and you will go higher than we ever could. If there ever comes a time when you question your commitment, we want you to remember something. You're not doing this for us. We did this for you. Aim high, airmen.
Wow, that was great. And it's a very stirring because these people look right into the camera and they say, we're here to serve you.
Yeah.
And that's wonderful.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
You know, it's very interesting because most people get up every day and they put on a coat and tie and they go to work. You get up every day, and many of your cohorts, you put on the uniform. That means you're here to protect us, to protect me. That's your mission. And you've made a commitment to that.
Well, an entire generation of young Americans do this every day in the Guard, the Reserve, the active duty, all of the branches of the services. But it is really a national conversation. This is something where every American has a responsibility to commit to the fact that only strength will buy down on the risk of an uncertain future. Only strength. We can't predict how the future will go, but if we invest in strength, which our Constitution asks us to do as the prime thing, the protection of this great nation, if we pursue strength, we will be okay.
Well, that's great.
You know, we talk about so often, it's the military does their job.
Yes.
But all of us who are civilians, we have a responsibility and a commitment too. And I think that comes from the privilege of living in this country.
Yes.
We are privileged to live in this country. And you know what? I don't talk about my family. I don't do that. And this is my country. And I'm not talking about my country either. This is the best country in the world.
Well, that's one reason why this weekend is so powerful, because it's a time for us as a nation to embrace this value that when we get comfortable as human beings, when we have security, we tend to forget that that does not come without a fight. Because there are people in this world that will steal this away from America if we are not vigilant. This weekend is a reminder, because the best way we can honor those 1.3 million that gave the ultimate sacrifice for our freedom is to commit to the strength to keep it alive for our children and grandchildren.
Good. Well, thank you so much for what you do. Thank you for what all the airmen do at Gunner and Maxwell Air Force Base.
Sir.
And remember this is the weekend. If you see a person in uniform or if you know of a vet, tell them thank you, because they're here to serve you in all that they do. And we'll be right back right after this.
Freedom is not free.